All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Crypto Wolf back again, and we're just doing a quick little update, and then I don't know, maybe chill, hang out for a minute after that. But I'm trying to get through this fairly quick. So real quick, we are seeing, as you can see on the thumbnail right here, we got a new candle on the monthly. Last one ended in a pretty much a doji start, and the new one is green for the moment. We'll see if it can maintain that. But real quick, quote of the day is, I'm gonna let you read that because YouTube probably ain't gonna like me saying it when it picks it up in the closed caption. But fuck it. I'll be the devil before I let you be my tyrant. All right. Moving on, here we are. Real quick, just looking at the 12-minute. I don't know. I'm waiting to see a little bottom here, but I don't know if it's coming yet because the money flow is still going pretty deep. Still going into the red. Bounce down on the 4-minute. You can see we started picking back up a little bit, and now we're heading down again. Money flow still coming down. VWAP about to cross to the downside. A little funky on the momentum waves right here, but technically it's a little bit divergent between these two, but I'm not putting a whole lot of faith in that, particularly because earlier today when we were having this dip right here, what am I on, Ethereum? Which one was it? It was either Bitcoin or Ethereum when we were getting to one of these places here. Yeah, like right here, we were starting to see some bullish divergence between this guy back here and this guy up here. And who knows, maybe just that little bit right there was all it was ever going to play out. Because, you know, money flow was coming back up a little bit. At that point, I had already done a little bit of a short. Where were we? I think when the money flow was coming down, I don't know, I forget. I did a short somewhere, ended up just like a little 2% loss because I just cut it because it was like going up here, or maybe it was over here. I really don't remember. Actually, I think it was back here somewhere, because when we started coming down here, figures like, what is it, just got to work at this point. Yeah, I saw it when it started really dipping, and I'm watching, and you know, smaller time frames starting to see like this little bullish divergence. I'm like, okay, maybe we'll get a little something. Started pulling back down again. I may have even gone long right there because I cut a second one at some point. Yeah, it was. Okay, so cut this one off when we started coming back down, basically break even for the most part. And it was starting to pull up. And at this point, I remember seeing, was it like Crypto Face, and even one other person was talking about going long. You know, we had a dot down here, and we were seeing a little bit more, you know, even up in the time frames a little bit. VWAP was crossing up. RSIs were together and pointing up at that point. Obviously, that didn't go super well because we've been fairly close together throughout, you know, just this whole downtrend. Not to mention, I mean, they weren't terrible back here. But, yeah, that went completely sideways on everybody. Luckily, I did not enter that one just because, I don't know, bouncing around between the time frames, even the higher time frames, wasn't feeling it. I'm like, I don't know, I just don't trust that it's ready to come up yet. And I guess I was right on that one. And then we basically just went sideways along this support level for a while until finally punched through, came right back into it right around, what are we at here, like 7-8 o'clock ish. And stopped looking for a little bit, then sat down. Noticed we did finally pull back through to the downside. Got 3 yellow X's in this segment right here already on the 8-minute. And we've been flopping and groping with the VWAP right here. But zooming in. Oh, didn't mean to do that. How do I make that go back? Oh my God, I broke it. There we go. But zooming in down here, you know, we are getting technically a little bit of bullish divergence right here. But I don't know. I was saying the same thing earlier, and honestly, I'm just not quite trusting it yet because other signs are kind of pointing to the downside. You know, we'll see what happens with this. Like RSI is coming back together, but going sideways. Money flow is still coming down. VWAP about to cross down again, but we've been crossing back and forth, you know, since, what do we got here? 20 hours. So for the last hour. So we'll see. You know, we just keep popping out little dots like hens are laying eggs over here. We got new candle 18. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm not really doing anything at the moment, but as I was originally going to talk about, over here on the monthly chart, we got a new candle, and it's a green one so far. Had you know, pretty much a doji start on this last one. We kind of broke even last month. And on top of that, you know, VWAP getting close to coming back up. But one thing I am a little cautious about is this situation right here where we are kind of getting resistance on the VWAP as it's kind of trending. It's like we're getting lower highs on the VWAP, but we're maintaining the same lows. So it's not dipping down any further. So we'll see how that plays out. I honestly, I'm not even going to give a prediction on it just because it's on the monthly. So, you know, who knows with a situation like that. Does kind of look like the momentum waves are clipping off sideways a little. Potentially a little hope there, but remember we did the same thing back here. So being cautious. We could, you know, we could come in, put in a new high and hit lower on the momentum wave and keep this little divergence pattern going. Which if we did that, I would be pretty damn bearish after seeing that. Because, you know, money flow coming down. Technically, we did have bearish divergence on the freaking monthly. And if we were to do it again, have, you know, more bearish divergence, we'd be in a clear downtrend at that point on the momentum waves, despite still putting in highs. And I would not necessarily expect much more in the high department. You know, short of this money flow just 180ing. Although technically that's not 180. That's like, what, 30 degree. But we'll see. That's potentially a good sign here on the VWAP. Especially if we, you know, if we do break above the 0 line, we will have, you know, broken that little resistance line as well, so that would be nice. So we shall see. You know, popping down a little bit, seeing what's going on. You know, we're up here in between a couple spider lines. I could probably put some little more finicky ones in there. Where are we at? So let's say turn this one blue so we see where we're at here. Yeah, we got some room. We could put a little something in here. What about, let's try this one. Are we going on? Yeah. Okay, a little bit closer, a little bit closer. And if you're not familiar with how to draw these spider lines, well, we got a video for that. So don't be lazy. Go watch it. And, oh, wait, I'm going higher. It's getting a little tricky over here. Okay, so there's another one coming up semi-close. Let's see, on the weekly though, still coming back up a little bit. Money flow did stay in the green. Go down to the daily. Money flow coming down now. RSI coming down and super tight together. DBSI pretty strong to the downside. Looks like, are we at a spider line? Ooh, just kind of blew through one. Did not even notice that. Coming up to another support level right here. Where are we at? Coming down to 11, potentially weakening, kind of reaching the bottom, but money flow still hard to the red. RSI is not weakening. Matter of fact, just that one little consolidation upward weakened significantly. I mean, if anything, we could more likely call, you know, that a trigger wave to the downside. Even this, potentially a trigger wave to the downside. And if we were feeling a little masochistic, we could even draw something there just to see if if we were to come back up and get rejected on the the high side of those little momentum valleys. But I don't know, that's probably pushing it a little bit. But on top of all that, VeChain was doing some nice work before. Oh, you know what? That's what my first trade was this morning. Yeah, I was trying to do VeChain, and got to be careful with VeChain, particularly around this price range, because you can get some pretty big percentages, which is good if you get it right. But if you're trying to do some fairly close risk management, that's a 5% move right there. If you're setting your stop loss at 5% to 10%, with leverage, life comes at you fast. So you want to be extra careful if you're trading some of these, low price, higher movement coins and tokens. Let's see, potentially coming back up here. We do have some bullish divergence between there. Looks like we're going to invalidate anything that might have gotten us. Probably just this little, that little mini pump right there. But looks like we're making a new low here. So we'll see what the money flow does. Maybe we get like a wider double bottom. Had big RSI weakness just on that little pump. But the big story of the day, at least out of the ones I've been looking at, was Cartesi. Now, granted, we're basically coming back and erasing most of that, but that was a nice little move right there. Very similar to what I was talking about in the other video, where you kind of get this little arc going and then we start winding up and then just takes off. And it's it's a tough one to predict. There's really not a lot going on that kind of foretells that something like that's about to happen. Because I mean, you're getting a little bit of an uptrend between these, but it's not divergence. So you don't got that going for you. Aside from just this, nice little curvature. And then the VWAP's trending up. So I guess we got some VWAP divergence, but you wouldn't necessarily like pick it out of the bunch and be like, oh, that's going to be like a super big one. Like here, this one wasn't too bad. And it equaled out to something kind of nice. Can you guys hear the dog snoring? You know, RSI is super tight, pointed down, just like everybody else. What was this anyways? Nice 18%er. Just out of curiosity here. Oh, look at that. Well, mate, you got a license for that pump. 90%. God, making me kind of salty. I didn't buy more down there. Let me know where I did buy it. Getting there, getting back to break even. Yeah, I was kind of late to the Cartesi party there. So we'll see. We do got new low there. Kind of a double top right there. Foreboding. So that may not be super great for that. But, you know, coming back to Bitcoin over here. Generally speaking, you can see even though we're kind of stepping down these spider lines, we generally are trending up. You know, in the grand scheme of things, even if it's not, you know, it doesn't have that kind of shape to it. Lately, we've been a little more subtle. You know, hopefully, I'd like to see, you know, even if it's just some kind of upward consolidation, if these start getting smaller, we start, you know, winding up getting smaller macro swings, you know, we'd be getting pretty close to some kind of, you know, potential breakout. Why the hell did it just change that? You know, just slightly upward channel. Don't really have too much like it. You know, we're generally in our uncharted territory, at least for Bitcoin, because, you know, anywhere back here, we really didn't have nearly the market cap that we do now. Don't have nearly as much, you know, big money going into it. People from the traditional market. And that absolutely does, you know, affect the way. Oh, look at that. Hold on. Remember we said we were going to watch and see how that one played out? Let me get rid of that. Well, looks like we broke to the downside. You know, we had this little, I think it was on a different time frame, but had this little little pattern going right here on the VWAP. Looks like we broke to the downside, so not terribly surprising. We've been pumping a lot lately. Yeah, I think just the, what was it, the other video, I was counting how many green candles we had in a row, just like, you know, it can't last forever. But we are in the green on the money flow again, so, you know, that could very likely limit just how much of a pullback we get. But overall, yeah, I think it's I think we're probably gonna go down tomorrow, unless this is just a short one, at which point, and the last segment of that uptrend would be probably pretty crazy. But, you know, we saw here, came back. Even if we just came back to, you know, this area in here would be fairly consistent with what it's been doing. You know, it would still be going up, still be higher. But just, you know, we've been coming a little bit past that spider line, little bit past that spider line. So perfectly reasonable to end up in that territory. The only thing that makes me a little bit hesitant is this guy right here, unless, you know, unless this turns into just a little bump. But we do still have, you know, general uptrend going on. And keep in mind, you know, just because we're up here doesn't mean that we can't stay around that general area for a little while. So, you know, overall, I'm bullish, especially we can keep up some green candles on the monthly. That'll be good. Keep it up on the weekly, which 7, 12, 13. I mean, still increasing, still -5 on the top side. So, you know, we want to see this money flow start increasing a little bit more. You know, these guys are coming together, which is a good sign. So, you know, it's kind of macro bullish, micro bearish. Yeah, I mean, we definitely have, you know, we got this support level, this support level, this support level. And there's probably more. I haven't even taken any time to actually draw any down below here yet. And speaking of, do I have, what's this one? So we got this guy here, which, okay, so we got a golden pocket down here. So there's one more. Yeah, it's a good level right there too. Then we got within the area of these 2 fib lines with the spider line kind of crossing through the middle. And it's not really out of the realm of possibility. You know, even if it takes a minute, it'll come down to that one. We're at 382. If it's super sharp, we could come down there, but we'll see. I don't know. You know, when things dip, they dip. Yeah, we saw that one was pretty sharp. That one was pretty sharp. That was sharp and then kind of cooled off for a little bit. Comparatively speaking, we're what? 2.5 candles into a dip. You know, we're kind of like in this territory right here, or potentially this territory. But that's a pretty standard little rollover top though. You know, we came up, consolidated for a little bit, just like we did at the peak of the market. Came up, son of a bitch. Consolidated for a little bit, pulled down. Came up, consolidated for a little bit. One last little peak, came down. You know, came up, sideways for a minute, down. So it's a fairly common occurrence. Doesn't always have to be this, you know, blow off top. Or just spike up and down. But that does happen too. But it seems like, you know, without the crazy, you know, extra volume and strength that we had, you know, back here a little bit, but more so back here, you know, there was a lot more FOMO, a lot more people jumping on, to where we tended to have more spikes than like this last one we kind of rolled over. even though in the, the grand scheme of things, it was a lot longer, slower, more dragged out rollover. But this guy, a lot of sideways. But that's pretty much my look at Bitcoin. Now, I wanted to throw this out there. If you're still watching, this is actually, I found this article. It's a series of like 5 articles. I haven't read them all yet, but the little bits that I have read, I went back to the first one, and I haven't read the first one yet. I think I caught it on the 5th one, but it's pretty good. I gotta say, it's a pretty good premise, good concept that he's got going on in these articles, called Bitcoin is Not Democracy. This is part 1, and it gets into a very Bitcoin / politics society kind of tip. But with how much everybody nowadays, especially on TV, where they do the whole how this is harmful to our democracy, and it's destroying our democracy. It's like, motherfucker, stop saying that shit. We don't have a democracy. We have a representative republic or a constitutional republic. The only democracy we have is the fact that people go out and vote for people to represent us. I mean, we don't vote on every bill like the people. We don't vote on spending. God knows life would be better if we did. I mean, it sucks for some people, but wouldn't have such a deficit if they had everybody vote on every little spending pet project. But yeah, so this guy gets that. So it's actually I'm looking forward to going and just reading these one at a time. I want to maybe try to knock out the first one tonight and then try to do the second one sometime here soon. But real quick, I was just kind of browsing the news, and I generally try to avoid the big, crypto cartel news sites like CoinDesk and Cointelegraph. I think BitBoy calls it Cointelali. But so I found this one. It's news.bitcoin.com, and it's actually not terrible. I mean, they don't have a ton of stuff, but from some of the little stuff I have seen, that generally like 1 or 2 interesting stories in any given time. Got this guy here. MicroStrategy obtains $205 million Bitcoin-backed loan to buy more Bitcoin. I mean, you got to say Michael Saylor is very consistent. There's no flakiness in his game right there. And then, of course, we have the always frustrating, and particularly so from this group, the IMF. We need a lot more work done on crypto regulation. Well, maybe we need a lot more work done on you guys finding new fucking jobs and closing that shit down, because you guys are horrible. God knows how many countries you destroyed, so I don't even want to hear your shit. Sorry. OpenSea to add Solana support. Definitely bullish for Solana. What was the other one? Oh, here we go. Nifty Gateway partners with Samsung to develop first ever smart TV NFT platform. That's pretty cool. And I'll be curious to check that out. I got a Samsung TV, so we'll see how that looks. I know in large part, I really haven't gotten into the NFT thing too much, partially because of kind of the barrier to entry with the prices. Like anything that's really worth getting is generally more than I'm going to pay for something like that. At least, where I'm at in life right now. If I was sitting on millions of dollars, yeah, I'd probably buy some cool shit. But matter of fact, oh dude, I saw these ones like a week ago. I was just kind of randomly browsing just to see like what all's there. And they have these like little, like 3D modeled, kind of like not action figures, but I don't know, little action figure doll type things. And it rotates around like 360 degrees. And each one is kind of different. And it comes in a little box, and like the box rotates around. And they had a whole bunch of just different kinds. And I gotta say, they had some really cool looking ones in there, and they're kind of like animated a little bit. So I'm like, okay, it's more than just a friggin' 8-bit picture, at least least you see something moving. It's nicely designed. They got cool little themes. So I was half tempted to jump on there and buy one of them, but I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna buy that for right now? Like, really, any money that I'd be putting into that, I mean, that's gonna be a long-term investment, if it is at all. So I'd rather put the money into either, you know, trading or holding. Because I'm trying to... Oh, shit. Hey, speaking of... I probably should have mentioned this earlier. So... Holy crap, stop flashing. So, I just found this exchange. I don't even honestly remember how I found it anymore. But it's called Mayex. And it's very interesting. So apparently like 6 people that formerly worked at Binance kind of split off and decided to start their own exchange. And they do regular spot trading for free. So no trading fees on just straight up spot trades, which is absolutely awesome. So, you know, if you're just trying to... You know, maybe you bought some Tether or USDC or something and you're trying to swap it for, you know, whatever you want. Now, granted, they don't have the gigantic list that Binance has, but they do have a pretty decent list, particularly for being, you know, a relatively new exchange. I mean, they even got synthetics on here. Some other stuff, Thor, you know, Mana, Sandy, Gala, Harmony, Vet, Didix. I'm not a big fan of the Didix exchange. Reef, Phantom. Yeah, they got a bunch of shit, my holdings in here. And pretty much all the standard ones. They got Near in there, Luna, of course, Atom, but they also have derivatives trading, and you know, just like Bybit or Phemex or OKX, you know, you can sign up. Takes 2 minutes. And again, I'm not sponsored by these guys. I literally just found them. But they worked in not just some of the back end that they use on Binance's exchange, but kind of improved on it a little bit, I guess. So I'm fairly you know, optimistic about this, because I don't know about you guys, but I was using Binance for like a year and a half, until they started cracking down on people from places that aren't supposed to be using it. At which point I basically just, you know, did the great exodus with everybody else and transferred 99% of my shit off of there. But it looks just like it. You know, it's easy to use. You know, you can come over here, adjust your leverage. What do we got? It says like up to 125, but I'm sure that probably depends on what asset you are on. Which I'm not super recommending going balls to the wall on that one unless you really know what you're doing and you've really, you know, laid out your entry. But yeah, so I don't know. I think I'm gonna try it out. I'm curious how. Let's see what how the volume's doing for them. So, all right. So Bybit, 24-hour. Where do we go here? So 24-hour turnover. Got about 870 million. That's kind of hard to read that number. 3 places. So we're at about like 78 million over here on Mayex. So for an exchange I've never even heard of before today, that's not bad. Like, I don't think they're even listed over here. But apparently they started right out the gate with it was either like 200 or 400 Bitcoin. just out of their own pockets just to back it. Let's see. So it doesn't even show up on this list. I wonder if they didn't even bother listing on here. Nope. What about... Good gosh, that's bright. Do something about that. Thank you. No. Today, let's see. I don't know if you can actually search for an exchange on here. Mexi, but that's not quite it. Prime XBT. Anybody out there use Prime XBT? I think I asked this once in an old video, but it was toward the end of the video, kind of like it is right now, and I doubt any motherfuckers are watching at this point. But how is it? Let me know. Nope, not showing up on here, although they definitely have a longer list than CoinMarketCap. I'm a little skeptical of anybody who doesn't have data. Mexi Global. I don't know what that's about. And if you wanted to know about some good places to, you know, be trading some contracts without having to deal with all the KYC, go check out my, I think it's like crypto derivatives, where to trade crypto derivatives video. It's pretty good. Not only do I tell you, I think I lay out like 4 popular ones. I actually go there, show it, you know, show what they look like, how it is compared to the other ones, you know, where everything's at, all that good stuff. And then shortly after that, I also did a video about decentralized exchanges. If you're curious, if you've never used one before, you could check that out. I went to like 4 of the biggest ones, including 2 decentralized exchanges that also do, you know, leverage trading. So it is really not a necessity to use those just yet, because we have regular exchanges. But if you're an absolute, you know, privacy diehard and you only want to stick to like decentralized exchanges, or you want to start getting more into decentralized just to kind of get off the crypto grid a little bit, you know, check it out. I go through, show, you know, the swap type, and then like kind of the classical exchange market type. Not on this one either. Spooky swap. Now you got me kind of curious here. Let's see if we can find any information. Well, they made Yahoo Finance, which I'm, you know, not a fan of, but good for them. So yeah, this January 7, former Binance Cortex launched a free crypto exchange called Mayex. Mayex provides free spot trading, USDT margin perpetual contract, coin margin perpetual contract. There are over 100 pairs on this platform. And you can read more if you want. And talk about similar names. Instead of Mayex, it's Mayex. The pre-release of new market coins, Mayex token. I look at it and I just can't help seeing like Mayex. Scary thought for many, I imagine. Savings wallet where they can hold MAP, Mayex, DFS. And all future UK financial limited coins. Well, that just sounds fishy. Who is... What was that again? UK Financial Limited. Sounds sketchy. Crypto Reporter, same article. The Globe and Mail. That sounds like a different one. Let's see, they got a subreddit. Not much going on there. Mayex regulatory relief for users. Will Mayex be able to achieve more than Binance without the heat of regulators on them? Achieve more? Probably not, because any exchange that starts getting very big, regulators are going to jump up your ass. That's kind of just the facts of life. But if they try to stay away from the US and actually now Europe too, I mean, shit, everybody's trying to jump down their throats. But, you know, if they can manage to bob and weave and duck and dodge a little bit, could have something good going for a while. I like the fact that they've got as many pairs as they do. You know, it took Bybit forever to start adding more and more pairs, but now, I mean, shit, now they add like 3 every other day. But it looks like about the same article on every site. So, yeah, that's what's up with them. Oh, wait, I don't want that. That one. Drag this back up here. Add it to my exchange window. Crossing up. Looks like ETH might be ahead of Bitcoin a little bit. 22.25. It's either a good start or a bad start. A little bit sideways on the VWAP. About to cross over on the 30. If you're still watching too, this is another common thing that I've been noticing. You know, you get these multiple hump, sometimes even a third one, but the money flow's coming down. So, you know, instead of continuing up, because there'll be some like bullish divergence in there too. You know, you kind of do a couple humps up and then boom, get a big dip. Particularly if, and it tends to happen on, you know, these smaller and middle time frames. So it tends to happen, you know, if you're in the middle of a dump or a pullback on a larger time frame. So again, something to keep eyes on. If you start seeing that happening, be sure to remember to jump up time frames and go get the bigger picture. Yeah, like right here. It's slight, but had some bullish divergence right there. But even still, you know, money flow was still, it still is constantly going down. What's up with Solana? Solana was doing halfway decent today. But yeah, everybody's dipping. You know, maybe hitting the bottom. Looks like we're getting a little bit of rounding off down here as get a little bit of an uptrend going there with the VWAP. A little early on the RSI, but we'll see. It was having more strength earlier than Bitcoin and ETH did. Look at that. Ripple didn't even take a very big dump. I mean, I had had a wicked candle right there, but you know, aside from keeping up with everybody else at the moment, you know, it's had more upward momentum. Red money flow was significantly less. Had one little cross back to the green right there, but pop back down below for a moment. We'll see. Could potentially be a trigger wave right here. Oh, wait, shit. Oh my God, go away. Let's see, about the same. You know, pretty deep on the momentum wave, even as we run up the time frames. That's a little scary. That whole situation right there. Got RSIs pointing down, coming together. Money flow coming down. Momentum coming down. DBSI pointing down. Yeah, that don't look so hot for Luna. Not much better over here. You know, RSIs came together and starting to roll, starting to point down. You know, money flow kind of clipping sideways right here. We'll see. Potentially could get this if the VWAP crosses back up anytime soon. We would have some bullish divergence on the VWAP. You know, we had it back here. Tough to say what came out of that too, because we were coming down on the money flow. It's one thing I'm starting to pay more attention to. How long are we? 47 minutes. I'm about to cut this off. But one thing I've been trying to pay more attention to is when you do get, you know, divergence on the VWAP, you know, how much or how often does that, you know, tend to play out? Like what, you know, what do we tend to see on the back of something like that? You know, like right here, obviously we saw a whole lot, but yeah, I mean, how much was resulting from that divergence? You know, at the very least, you know, you could say everything up to here. On the opposite case, you know, we're seeing bearish right here. So if nothing else, you could say, you know, everything to here. So it does seem like it, you know, plays out fairly consistently. You know, again, right here. So say it played out to about there, which not spectacular, but it's something. You know, bearish divergence. That one definitely played out for sure. I think I'm going to start paying a little more attention to that, especially as a potential trade entry position. So it looks like the VWAP divergence is, you know, pretty reliable, really. Little double top on the stochastic RSI. Shit, even between either of those. But a little bearish RSI divergence right there. I missed that earlier. And that's part of the reason I've been doing these divergence videos and checking out, some of these different indicators that point out, divergences and things. Because it is really one of the most important things to learn for trading. And just getting used to, looking at stuff beyond just momentum waves. I'm still kind of getting in the habit of that. So I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to keep reminding you guys about it. Hopefully, you pick it up along the way as well. But all right, you all have a fantastic day tomorrow. And remember, we all love you. Stay free, stay happy. Life's too short to be sulking. So no matter how it's going, trust me, it can get worse. So chin up, motherfucker.